and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum. Peace.
Young
Be unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, y'all. Peace and hair grease. Islam to my Moors. This is the part where we come back and we stop them from attacking the Moors, man. Some going on here. We thinking this is a covert operation. But we got some receipts. Boy, we got some receipts. And we got pictures. We got names. We got dates. We got times. This is about to be a good one. Now, yeah, we got to clear it up. The dirty Moors. Because people thinking that M-U-U-R Moor is different from M-U-O Moor. No, it ain't. It's the same thing. It's just that depending on who calling us what. Some people call us Amari, which is the same as Moor. Some people call us Amir, which is the same as the Amir people, which is the same as Moor. We're about to get into it. We got receipts. We got receipts. We're giving people time to get in. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. On a Young Elders channel, we teach a whole bunch of different variety of things. We got black liberation. Now, for you Moors that's in the building saying, why he still saying black on some of the tapes, right? I'm doing that for a reason because there's people that still that's into the black thing, right? So once we get them in on the black thing, we hit them with the real what's going down. Because I got it all. And if you go look at the playlist, how I got it set up, they watched what they come in on, and then they roll into, oh hell, hold on, the paper genocide and Walter Plecker and Horace Greeley start going into all that. Then they get on, they see what's going on. So all my baby kids and my L's that hover bear with us on the black when we say using the term black. We're about to get into some of that here on here too, right? Now, for all you people that's new to the Moor science, a person that you want to know about, right? You should know about Dr. Malachi Z. York if you've been with us, right? But another person you want to know about when it comes down to the Moor science is the master teacher, Taj Tariq Bey. He's the number one, well, we think, right? He's one of our number one scholars when it comes down to the Moor science. Type in Taj Tariq Bey and study all that brother tapes if you want to get into a more in-depth study on the Moor science. And we got a lot of clips from the master teacher, Taj Tariq Bey, in this show tonight. Another person you want to look up is Hakeem Bey. We haven't heard nothing lately from the brother. Because he was dropping, he was waking one of the new waves after Taj Tariq. that was dropping all the hot stuff and coming out with the and finding out more information. Now, here's another clip, and we got receipts. We're going to play all the receipts. People are under the impression that the Moors origin from Africa, or that the Moors origin from somewhere else. The Moors origin from America. The Moors are the, you know what Moor really means? It translates into the enlightened ones, the civilizers. The first advanced civilizations is in America, and America took it around to the other worlds. Guess what? By who? The Moors, the mound builders. Right? I forgot to get that clip from Empress Radici where she talked about the killer clowns raiding her spot. Now let me another thing let me point out too, that the city of Aura is in America. America is the city of Aura, the city of light. They discovered electricity and light was invented over here first. Light bulbs, all it was over here first. This is where Tahuti came up, right? Nigazita, that's another name for him. One of Inky's sons came over here first to start educating and teaching the people. A couple other groups, like the 200 Fallen, known as the Igigis, landed in America and set up the city you call Los Angeles, where they began educating the people over here. So the Moors origin from America. Abraham's seed, the Israelites, who go back to Inky, origin from America. And then they began selling to all the other places and teaching everybody else and going and populating other places. So a group of Moors left America and went to Morocco. That's how they get connected with Morocco. They wasn't in Morocco first. They was over here first in America. I'm telling you, man, a lot of this stuff about to get ready to come out. But the truth of the matter is, let me share my screen. I'm gonna show you some pictures first. We got about 200 clips. We don't know if we're gonna be able to play all of them, but we're gonna get through a lot of them. And we got about 500 pictures. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna try to show you something. Now, if you can see my screen, hey, this is a key pivot point over here with in America. But before this, if they ain't telling you about the Spanish Inquisition is where our problems start with these usurpers, these planet poachers, because they're not from here. That's why they always roaming looking for a home. They call the Rome. One of the names for them is the Romans, because they are the man that roamed around looking for a place to stay. They are nomads. One of the key pivot points for the nomads to start stealing people's land, it starts with the Spanish Inquisition and the Papist bulls and the doctrine of discovery, right? And then from that point, we get into Queen Isabella. Hold on. Let me see if I got a picture of Queen Isabella for you so you can get a better understanding. All right, we already put a tape out. Hold on, I'm gonna give you time to load up. We already put a tape out called The Queen's Gambit, How Queen Isabella Outsmarted the Barbary Moors. Go check that tape out on the video side, and it's in the Moor Science playlist. But Queen Isabella is the key pivot gambit, the key pivot point to where they was able to get the flag rights to be able to get over here. And that's how Christopher Columbus, to make a long story short, once they got the sails to Grenada, they were able to sail to the Western Hemisphere. At first, they only had Marco Polo, who sailed to the Eastern Hemisphere. Right after the devil got released, after the 1,000 years was up, they would because Yaku's devil was trapped for 1,000 years. Then he got released by the Moors, and then Marco Polo sails to the Vietnamese land, and then caused two brothers to get into it and start a war over there. And then leading up to 1492, Christopher Columbus, Queen Isabella. So you got that part, right? You can go watch the whole storyline of Queen Isabella on the video side, like we said. Now, once they got past the Barbary Moors, we put a tape out about that earlier today, another tape on the Barbary Moors. Plus, you can go watch a tape called the Moor, the real slave trade. See, now all that what I just told you leads up to them, these avatars who look like Moors, but they ain't Moors. They infiltrate everybody. They look like it. They can look like everybody. They blend in with the Christians. They blend in with the Muslims. They blend in with Jewish guys. They blend in with the Satanic Church. They blend in, yeah. They blend in with the Masons. They blend in with everybody. They infiltrate everybody. It's their number one thing. Is Lucifer's and his gang, the Luciferian agenda is infiltration at its highest form. But then we get into, this is a key pivot point, because we got all the tapes leading up to this point to where Woodrow Wilson signs the last pieces increments over, where they auctioned the last piece of increments over of the land that they had conquered once they had rocked the Moors asleep. Now, let's go back. Well, let's pause there while we got that right there. Hold on. Yeah, okay, all right. Let's bring up some of this stuff before we get into it. Now, you know about J. Edgar Hoover, who was a killer clown, right? The killer clowns are another name for them are the Shriners, those who rock your crowns, who know about the mounds. Now, look, this J. Edgar Hoover right here, he got the crown on, he got the fez. Why is these guys rocking the fez? And these were the main guys after you. These are the main guys after you. They rocking the fez with the tassel to the left or to the right, right? He got his to the right. Now he got it to the left. They rocking it to the left. That means they coming in off a left bump. They remember they coming in. Look at the handshake he give them. They Masons. They Freemasons. Now keep in mind, J. Edgar Hoover was the one that started the COINTEL program. He's a killer clown, man. The guys who rocking your crown, who know about the mouths. He's a killer clown. Y'all finna put this. I'm finna put it all together for you, real nice and greasy. This is gonna be the best tape you ever heard. And after this, ain't no disputing why we are the Moors. And you can go off and it's another thing we're gonna make clear too. A lot of us are Moors, and then a lot of y'all are different families. The different families became the different tribes. So you are Moor, like overall, the Moor is a broad term. We got to make that clear. It's a broad term because Abraham's seed was the Ishmaelites, the Israelites, and then he had the Midianites, which would be Mansa Musa and them, who came over later in 1310. They would see the Abraham too from his third wife. But the other two sons, Ishmael and Ishmael ended up going west, but Isaac and the Ishmaelites stayed in America. America is the land of Israel. Don't fool yourself. What do you think when Jacob said go down and get some corn? The corn is in America. Corn is found indigenous to America. And they gonna lie tell you Christopher Columbus corn didn't make it over there until 1492. So how are they talking about corn in the Bible and talking about Israel when corn is indigenous to America? It's a lot of stuff that you can't hide the truth only for so long, right? But remember J. Edgar Hoover, the killer clown. Remember Nixon, they all killer clowns. I remember FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, he's a killer clown. He's the one that signed Executive Order 6102, where they robbed you of your natural wealth. It's all connected back to these guys who rock your crown, who know about the mounds. There you go right there again, talking to a Nubian sister. You see how he hanging out like he really trying to put a Mac on to her, right? How he hanging out the car, but look at him, he rocking your crown like he know about the mounds. Here they go again. Here, look at them. These are the guys right here. These guys was given these crowns by another group of guys, right? Who are the pirates? They pirates. They were originally pirates, and they connect back with the Barbary Moors, but they're another group called the Corsicans from the Corsican island. And that's why you see the same flag as the Corsicans with the Moors on it. It's the same flag as Switzerland. We already got tapes on it. It's called the Black Hand. So these guys work for the Black Hand, the dirty Moors who gave them these crowns, right? And made them what they call potentates, the gatekeepers of the North Gate, right? Here they go again. Look at him. He hitting them with the sign right there. Look at the handshake. They Masons. Look at this. There they go right there again, rocking your crown. We're going to get more into these guys. These are the guys that say they're looking for the rise of they're looking for a child. Just like in the old, if you're a Bible guy, just like the three wise men were looking for a child. Just like during Moses' time, they were looking for a child. The three wise men, right? These Magi priests, because these guys alchemists, they priests, they wizards, they warlocks, they alchemists, they the killer clowns. And killer clowns is just what it sounds like. But you see they holding the child because they looking for some child that was going, they call him the Black Messiah, that was going to rise, and they got to put them out of business so they can stop us because they feel like this their ideology. They figure like the Nubians in America are the lost sheep. The lost sheep. Keep in mind, a sheep is the dumbest animal on the planet. One of the dumbest, right? Keep in mind, a sheep need a shepherd to lead them. A sheep needs a shepherd to lead them to the water, to lead them to the pasture, to lead them to dry land, or else they'll starve and die, or else they'll get took out by wolves, right? Wolves dress like sheep and come amongst the sheep and eat them and devour them. And a wolf can smell a sheep from miles and miles away, right? But these a sheep need a shepherd. That shepherd is the leader, and therefore, if they don't have a shepherd, they'll keep wandering and be lost at sea or lost in the wilderness if they never have a shepherd. So their whole game plan in their playbook is to take out the shepherd. Every time they get a shepherd, take him out. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the list goes on. Any one of these guys they can be potential shepherds. All right, here they go right here. They the real clowns. When I say the killer clowns, I'm not just saying that. These guys really do the circus. These guys really dress up. They run the circus. They really dress up like clowns and ride around in clown cars because they really are clowns. They are not. And what do we do with clowns? What is a clown? Think about that. What do you do with clowns? And what is a clown? See, that's why I said the killer clowns who rock our crowns, who think they know about the mounds, but they're a whole bunch of clowns. They really clowns. In real life. In real life, they're the killer clowns. They are the ones that's after the kids. They the ones that's kidnapping the kids. The kids missing every year. They the ones that Walt Disney was the killer clown. These guys set up the FBI. You getting it now? I got more stuff. Wait till I start playing the receipts. I'm just getting you warmed up right now. I'm just warming you up, giving you time to get in here. These guys. Look at they. This is one of their symbols. The killer clowns who protect the mounds, and they got this over their head. Don't reveal the secret. What's the secret? This right here represents our Nana in another way, and it represents the Bantu tiger, but it also represents our Nana because our Nana's that half moon is dealing with our Nana, the mother rights. All right, here's Jeff Ford. Here's Jeff Ford and some other brothers. They rocking fezzes, but they told you Jeff Ford was a gangbanger. They turned Moors into gangbangers and criminals and terrorists. They turned Jeff Ford into a terrorist because when you talk about the Moor science, you become a terrorist. Matter of fact, let's pause it right there and get into some of these clips. Let's play a clip from what Bobby Hemmett said. Right? Stop that screen real quick. Zeke. Hey, Zeke, get him in here. Tell him hit that like button, Zeke. Now check this out.
Scheme that's going down with the United States government, and that is this. You go and you get all this shit and you make yourself sovereign, you make yourself the Moor, you make yourself all of this here, you go through and you get all these papers and you get all this shit signed and you get all this shit hooked up. And guess what? Homeland Security has the Moors under the terrorist bill, and under the terrorist act, the Moors are one of the first. So when you get
now, why would the Moors be number one on these guys' terrorist list if it wasn't no problem? If the Moors wasn't no problem, why would the guys put them as number one on the terrorist list? Now, let's get into a little bit more of this. Let's go into some of these clips. Now, remember the George Washington challenge. What George Washington said they were going to do. Let's play that George Washington challenge for you.
Don't forget about the George Washington challenge, where they said that they was going to take our fez or turban off our head. And it reads, if we would agree to take the fez and turban off the Moors' head and remove the sandals from their feet and enforce severe punishment, and to also swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not allow anyone to teach the Moors' children who they really were or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moors' children to be taught that they were truly Negroes, black people, and colored folks. 200 years from today, the Moorish people will not know their nationality nor their nation name of their forefathers. Also, they will not know from which land or ancestry that they are.
See, so another thing that Bobby Hammond was pointing out is that once you do file all the paperwork, you automatically go onto another list where they know you're an enemy, because they out, the American people are the enemy since 1933. But you definitely become an enemy once you try to claim your nationality and your birthrights back and a T-bond start dissolving. That's the problem. Another thing is these killer clowns, they once they got hold of the North Gate and saw how much wealthy or how much the state was worth, and we left them up during the war. We left them as trustees. We left these killer clowns as trustees in a way, because we wanted to end the war, right? And said, when we told them when we wake up, you know what I'm saying, once the children wake up, they had to step down. But the time has come for them to step down, but they don't want to step down, right? They are trustees of the estate. We are the real Tamarayan Moors. Let me play a clip for you from Brother Hakeem Bey.
And so we put the Europeans and Masons in power. We refer to them as the mystic Turks, or chief protectors of the sacred shrine. The shrine of what? The shrine of Moor science, of Moor civilization that we had cultivated for so long. We put them there in charge of it. And so they're custodians. And then sometimes happens that custodians forget their place and they start to think that they're the ones. But we got to remind them, y'all not the ones. Y'all the custodians. Y'all was to hold it and preserve it until we wake back up and then get this thing back on its original divine plan. So we are to convey to America that we're not about overthrowing this. No. As a matter of fact, we're about getting this thing back function on its original divine purpose. Because if we don't, it's going to be destroyed. As you see what's happening right now on a global level. America's going down a path now of self-destruction. And if we don't wake up and first save ourselves, and then in turn save America.
Hey, shout out to Brother Hakeem Bey. We haven't heard from that brother in a while, but we hope that brother's safe and his family's safe. Islam to the brother, because he was putting in some work for a while. I got a lot, and he gave me a lot of head starts on a lot of things to look up and check out, because Doc told us to go check him out. And he told us to go take out a dude named Jose Bey. Jose Bey, right? Okay, so now this next part I'm about to play for you is where Herb Perry, who was an informant for the FBI, who said that in the library they had more information on the Moors than the Moors got. I'm gonna play you two clips of guys talking about how much the killer clowns was after the Moors, why they had the number one persons on their list. You just heard Bobby Hemmett say that once the Moors labeled as terrorists, terrorists against what? National security. What is national security? The Federal Reserve. What backs the Federal Reserve? Human collateral. What is the human collateral? People saying they black, Negro, colors, and white folks saying they some kind of crayon. Matter of fact, before we roll Herb Perry, Let's roll this one by the master teacher Taj Tariq Bey. Let's roll this one.
Let me tell you, baby, human beings are not crayons. They honor their mothers and fathers, and they have a nationality. The reason why, one of the major political reasons why our people are so mistreated is because they're the only people on the planet that become adults that still think human beings are crayons. Talking about green people and purple people and pinstripe people, and don't matter what color you are. Go to a law book and look at color, and you know what it means? A semblance, a simulacrum, as distinguished from that which is real. Persons who claim these brand systems that were set up by Dutch masters at North America in law are called wards of the state. They are non-descendable. Any wealth that's passed down from their foreparents will be taken by the states because they are held as being in dishonor. And I suggest to you, even though you have young eyes and you're a little girl, pay attention to what's around you. When you see other Asiatics and Africans come here to North America, they'll deal with us and they'll do business with us. But you will not see them integrate into communities where we are. We are outcasts because we're the only people that continue to put this crazy, ignorant, foul crap on our offspring, calling them colors, knowing that it's a fraud.
So you heard, we got more, but overstand the black Negro colored game, the Walker Record game, to write up, to still out, to make us stateless, to still out, that's part of still out of a state, right? And we got a whole tape. We got tapes on Walter Plecker already. We got a whole series on Walter Plecker. We got some coming out on Horace Greeley and the Red Man's Wig Party. Stay tuned for that. We really cracking heads all week, right? And we got like a whole bunch of tapes lined up on because it was the last week was black, Nubian, because I know we still kind of get out that word black, but it was Nubian Sister Week, Empowerment Week. That's why we putting all of showing you like Madam C.J. Walker, all the sisters that was standing out on their own, doing their thing. We putting those tapes out, and like I say, so you bear with us when you see the black on there or you hear black in some of the tapes. It's because we drawing some people in, and then once we get them in, we hit them with what I'm saying, what you just heard. We already got the game down. We just put, we just fish them in them in. Overstand that, and we ain't leaving. If you know how we doing it, we ain't leaving no stone left unturned. Trust and believe. If you think the stone ain't been unturned yet, we headed to overturn it right now. I'm telling you, ain't no stone gonna be left unturned. Like all the information, everything you can think of, is being put out. Now we better play Hart Perry's information, the way he tell you how much information they got on the Moors. Why is the Killer Clowns, the COINTELPRO operations headed by J. Edgar Hoover, so interested in stopping the Moors? Let's get into it.
Clowns have a whole library about us, bigger than what we got. Right? They have information that we don't even have. We about to bring Dale Hart Perry back on and another fella from the Moor Science Temple to show you and tell you how much information these people have been collecting on us over the years.
You also were active in the infiltration of many cultural groups. Before we go into that step by step, how much research and study did the FBI engage in of black culture in the late 60s?
A great amount.
Give me an idea.
From the thing is, I can, they have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music. Music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
And they would actually study these different...
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
What would they do with music?
To understand the people, you have to understand the culture. To infiltrate, you have to understand. You had a lot of so-called white liberals that were infiltrating the so-called black groups, using the information that they had gathered from the studies of blacks. Um,
You mean just to understand the behavior pattern of our people?
oh yeah, I can. Will Heaton could name out some jams of Miles Davis that I hadn't even heard of. He could name off some books that I hadn't even read pertaining to black culture.
Do you ever see agents actually studying the music of?
Yes. I've seen them going over even video portion of cultural events. The understanding, like when, okay, you have an organization like Leroy Jones Black House. You remember that? Okay, Leroy Jones's place, which was done on the thing of tribalism. That's where I first heard the word Kintu, Mantu, Huntu, Hentu. These words of the African continuum. I learned that from an agent. He ran it down to me. They make in-depth studies of the personalities of the people they're dealing with too, culturally. It always helps when it's a thing of you can take their culture and use it against them.
How large would you say an extensive collection on our culture would you say the FBI has? Would you rate it as large as a particular library, like the Schomburg Library in Harlem? Or?
I would rate it better. I would rate it better, and the fact is that they go into details that we probably would overlook. Will Heaton used to meet me in different places. You know, Will Heaton, that was one of my supervising agents. There is a certain bar in the Los Angeles area where people into black cultural things met, and Will Heaton used to meet me there. And he would go into very long and tiring conversations with some very articulate brothers about culture, African culture, and Afro-American culture.
Eventually, what these so-called FBI guys would do, they would send me back, and then they bring me back. You remember, it was like 3, maybe 4 times that week before they released me finally, that they came and got me out of my cell and they was questioning me things. And I'll never forget this. The second time they came and got me, they brought out a book about this huge, like 4 phone books, like wide. And it had nothing but Moorish information in it. And they asked me, did I know anything about, any of these organizations, or did I know Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who is our leader, and all of this just crazy stuff. And I was like, let me see the book. I kid you not. When I looked in the book, every organization that claimed to be of the Moorish movement was in that book. All right, whether it was by way of snippets that they copied off a website, whether it was off actual documents from a temple itself, whether it was they had the info. Just my point. They had the info. Now remember, these are 2 European guys, and I looked through it and I was like, wow. So some of the stuff I was looking at, I was familiar with regarding Prophet Noble Drew Ali's message, with the Constitution. And I saw a lot of different organizations that claim to be of the Moorish movement inside of this book. So my point is, they're watching, they're documenting, and they are taking notes. So even if you claim to be, this high, have high regard for Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and you don't enforce civics, they got you in the book as well, but you've been neutralized. You've been neutralized. That's the point. You've been neutralized.
So Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right, y'all. There we go. All right, so let's go to this. Let's go to this picture of Jeff Ford. Oh, we can plug. Can y'all hear me now? Yo, can you hear me? I'm mute. Yo, can you hear me now? Somebody drop in the chat. Yeah, so this is the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, in court. When Dr. Malachi Z. York put the Nuwapian nation of Moors, that's when the FBI, the killer clowns, had to skank him down, just like they did Jeff Fort, just like they did Noble Drew Ali, and anybody else. You think that they ain't have Doc in that book he just mentioned? The book that he said with everybody that mentioned the Moors, they got him in that book. You think the Nuwapian nation of Moors went in that book? Come on, man. People can tell you whatever, but the reason why they took Doc down, it's several reasons. Doc really made him mad in a whole bunch of ways. But he made him mad, I think, just right alongside Malcolm X. Malcolm X really made him mad too, but Doc really made him mad in several ways. But remember this. Remember George Washington. He actually was a Negro. These actually were Moors. They actually were Moors. These people were Moors. I remember these Freemasons. Remember Harriet Tubman. He was the one that put the play on. Initially put the play on Malcolm X, because he the one that called J. Edgar Hoover. Okay, so the Malcolm X story is going to get ready to drop. But Malcolm X wrote a letter while he was in prison to Harriet Tubman. And in the letter, Harriet Tubman said that when he called J. Edgar Hoover after he read the letter and said, "Hey, keep an eye on this guy. This guy could be a potential agent for the rise of his people." And so that's why they started watching Malcolm X as soon as he got out of jail. And then all of a sudden, when Malcolm X got out of jail and hooked up with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam started growing extremely fast. That they got scared of it, because they start opening up temples everywhere because of Malcolm X. I'm telling you, man. I ain't gonna give you too much of that story, because that's another story that we got dropping next week. But remember, Harriet Tubman was a killer clown. These are the people that was after you the whole time. Besides, well, the middlemans. They are the middlemans for the black hands, the dark-skinned, dirty Moors. All right, they go Hoover again. He the ambassador. Right, he a killer clown. He rocking your crowns like he know about the mountains. All right, the Federal Reserve Act, like I said, is a key pivot point, and this what Noble Drew Ali was here to counter. This what the Big Mama son Noble Drew Ali here to counter, to try to because they thought they were going to use that Shipwreck Act and then have us lost at sea as black Negroes and colors, abandon the state. We abandoned our state, and they were gonna take claim as squatters on our land. But that ain't paying out for them. Hold up, that ain't paying all the way out for them. Hold up, because of Noble Drew Ali, right? All right, keep in mind the black peace stone sign. That's a Moor symbol. This a Moor symbol, right? The El Rookin know what the El Rookin is. Big Mama, man. See, the El Rookin is Big Mama's castle, rook. The El Rookin. All right, now this is a book I was telling y'all about that the master teacher Dr. Malachi Z. York put together. The Let's Set the Record Straight book. This is the book I believe that was one of the key instruments in the killer clowns want to take him off the streets, right? Because he was revealing the secrets in there. One of the secrets he was revealing. And by building the Holy Land in Edenton, Georgia, and letting us know that, hey, this is ancient Kemet as well. He was revealing too many secrets. And so, but the Moor science, this book is one of them. He dropped all. If you can get a hold of this book, holler at the people at the All Eyes on Me Culture Center in Atlanta, Georgia, New York. I think it's a couple more, like one in Charlotte, I think. Get in touch with some of them people, or if you see one of the Sabine brothers or the Nuwapian brother on the street, either they might have a copy they can sell you, or they might get point you in the right direction on getting a copy. This is a book you got to have on your shelf if you're talking about your freedom or your redemption. This right here book is the real redemption manual right here. It's like part of it, because literally, Doc Penn was in on the redemption manual as well, secretly, because it's a lot of stuff that Doc wrote he didn't put his name to, because he was trying to prevent the killer clowns from coming after him, but they traced some of the stuff back to him, and this right here was one of the books. I remember the Moor seal. Remember I just showed you the El Rukn's peace stone symbol is the same as this symbol, because you know what I'm saying? The Moor seal. And America is the land of the Moors. That's what America translated to. Go watch my tape called The End All on the Word Moor on the video side. Scroll down about a month ago. Watch that tape, The End All on the Word Moor. America translating to the land of the Moors. Right? Another word for Moor is Amaru. Amaru is another word for Moor. That's what the French, you get the French, the Spaniards, different people refer to us as different things, but the land of Aura is America, the city of light, the land of Nod. Nod is Inky. Another name for Inky is Israel. You Americans, you American Negroes, so-called Negroes, are the real Israelites. You are the real Egyptians. You are the real mound builders. You are the Moors. The real Moors. That's what they don't want. That's why they so after that. That's why they are so after stopping this. You are a threat to your awakening is a threat to national security. Now here's another symbol they got on the back of the dollar that was already our symbol. They took this and made it to an eagle. Hold on, let me show you. You already know about. We're gonna get to Malik El Shabazz. Oh look. All right, here's another one of their symbols right here. Like, so what they guarding? If the killer clowns is over here, and they got this on over their head, and they got Ra, because it's really Ra right there on the original is Ra. They got Ra. What are they guard? If they go on the North Gate, what secret are they going? Is this ancient Kemet America? Yes, that's what they don't want to tell you. And like we just say, these Shriner guys, they looking for the kid. Everywhere you look, they up in the front with the kid. They looking for the kid. And they clowns. They the real killer clowns, man. Hold on. You see them all over. Look at Shriner clowns. Go look them up. Look at these guys riding little clown motorcycles. All right, you know about the El Rukn. They labeled these guys as drug bang. What they did is they infiltrated the El Rukns, and then they used illegal entries, meaning the illegal entries was the people that infiltrated, they had them moving cocaine for the CIA. And then they framed the whole organization like these guys are moving it for the whole organization so that they can bad jacket the whole organization, label them as drug dealers and terrorists, and lock all of them up and murder them. This is the classic COINTELPRO operation, right? We got tapes on that. The El Rukn, they wasn't gang banging. These people were more sciencing, man. Come on, man. Look at this. It's Jeff Ford again with the feds on. Jeff Ford didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do drugs or none of that. That's why they were so scared of Jeff Ford. Just like they were scared of Raymond Washington because he didn't smoke or drink or do drugs. They really fear you when you don't got no vice. When you don't got that many vices, they make it hard for them to get dirt on you, because their whole game plan is leverage. Get leverage on them. What kind of dirt can we gain on them? That's how they was coming out to Martin Luther King. They said, oh, Martin Luther King like drinking beer. Oh, he like women, so we can get a hooker in there on him. Right? We got Martin Luther King story coming out as well. But they didn't like Jeff Ford because they couldn't really find nothing on. He ain't really do nothing. Right? He was too clean. They ain't liked it. So they had to set him up while he was in prison. Right? All right, so you know about the license plates. All right, here we go right here. Remember that symbol of that bird I just showed you, which was the ancient Kemet? They took it and just transferred it right here. This is it right here. I wish I could side by side it for you. But this is they talking about the two seals. Both seals is the Moor seals. Both seals are Moor's ancient Egyptian seals. The Moors, the ancient Egyptians are the Moors. Keep that in mind. Don't get it twisted. The real ancient Egyptians. Keep in mind the word the Egyptian really don't apply to us because Egyptian applied to the some of these Hyksos really, or not the Hyksos servants really, who they got burnt faces. We call them Egyptos, which means burnt face. But for sake of conversation, when I say Egyptians, you ought to think about the pyramids, the headdress, all that, right? That's us, the Moors, right? Whether you want to spin it M-O-O-R, it's the same thing. It just depends on who telling you. Was it what the Europeans were calling the M-O-O more? Other people call us the Amaru, like the Spanish. The Spanish call us the Amaru people. I'm telling you, man. Right? And so we left, the Moors left America, the city of light, the city of Aura. Muur. Mu means one of, like Muhammad means one who's worthy of praise. Muslim means one of peace. Moor means one of the city of Aura. Aura means light, fire. So the ones of the city of fire, which means, and it translates into the enlightened ones, the same word as the Illuminati. The real Moors are the real enlightened ones, the real civilizers, the real mound builders. The ones who took the education system around the world from America, because Tahuti set it up over here first. I'm telling you, man. And Islam to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, right? Prophet Noble Jew Ali came to counter that 13 Federal Reserve Act, 1913, Woodrow Wilson, and the secret Treaty of Verona. They go the prophet. Here's the prophet right here, and the prophet never did. Always took pictures. He always had signs and symbols and codes in the background. So if you look at this picture, it's several things going on in this picture with people with their legs crossed, right? It's kind of blurry, but you can't see this dude right here doing some signs with his hands. So a lot of things going on in this picture. The way they sit in the arrangement. It's all set up alchemically because Noble Jew Ali was a high-powered alchemist, right? Like just like he doing right here with the bump left. Right, hold on, they bump left. Right? Raw had already pointed that out. That Noble Jew Ali was shooting signs right here. And it's some on the wall, it's some on this piece of paper right here where he pointed it. Right? And then his books down here on the bottom. Right? Pearl was the one that Clyde Green Bay, that she was sleeping with Clyde Green Bay. That's one of Noble Jew Ali's wife. Another one of his wives, I think, her name was Mary Ali. Right? Moor Science Temple. You know about the Moor Science Temple. Here's Dr. Malachi York, who was claiming the land back in Georgia. That's why they came at them under the Moor Science, under the Native American banner. The Yamasee Native American Moors. He's the president and active chief Black Eagle Thunderbird, and this is why they came. It's all connected back to the Killer Clowns. That's who got Malachi. Think about the prison. The prison that they in is called Influence, Colorado. Jeff Ford is there. Larry Hoover is there. The same people the same people put all of them there. H. Rap Brown. The same people, the Killer Clowns, put all of these people in there for the same similar reasons. Right? These guys. All right, you know about the Moors Republic? Right? This is the Republic. The Moors Republic. Now check this out. This is the city of Aura. This is ancient Kemet. The pyramids over here are older. And even if you want to say Imhotep built the first pyramid, for you guys that got switched around, thinking that that's ancient Africa or ancient whatever, when this is more ancient than anywhere as far as civilization. That's why America is the most advanced civilization still to this very day in the world. We got the best everything over here still to this very day, because it's always been like that. It's because Tahuti came over here first. The helicopters, named after Native American tribes, all this stuff was already over here. I'm telling you, man. All right, so this right here is the land that Dr. Malachi Z. York, Chief Black Eagle Thunderbird, was setting up for his people, the Yamasee Native American Indians, the Wapian Nation of Moors, and the FBI Killer Clowns. Because don't get it twisted, Sheriff Seals is part of the Killer Clowns. Sheriff Seals is a part of the Killer Clowns. You hear me? I'm telling you, man. COINTELPRO operations, you know about J. Edgar Hoover 13. We just went over that. This is a key pivot point in them stealing our stuff. All right, this right here is the new Wapian Nation of Moors flag. Here's Doc again in court with his fez on. So he was going with the Moor science, and he had all the documents and paperwork together. Doc knew more about this stuff than anybody besides Taj Tariq Bey. You know what I'm saying? So Doc was on point. They just rigged. When you're dealing with devils like he dealt with the most, they unleashed the most high-powered demons. You can go back and look at the tapes of the people that's standing in there. Just look at their face. If you got a spiritual discernment, and you look at their face, you can see them was some high-powered demons in there standing around Doc when they had him talking about he was taking a plea deal that they had tortured him into. I'm talking about Sheriff Seals. You can look at his face. Now, the Dirty Moors, which is one specific group of European Moors who call themselves the Zionist Jew guys, they are the guys who backdoored everybody and was stealing the stuff. So they give all the other Moors a bad name. Now, we got a whole hour-long movie called The Dirty Moors Take Over Hollywood. You can go watch that movie on the video side, and you'll get a better understanding on how they the ones that were instrumental in switching us out with the immigrants. They the ones that pulled the magic hat, the magical rabbit out the hat trick, and turned immigrants into natives and natives into blacks, Negroes, and colors. It was part of their game coming down from the black Christian codes. All right, here's another picture of J. Edgar Hoover and the Killer Clowns who protect the North Gate, the Federal Reserve. Right, these guys here. Now let's cut to some more. Let's cut to some more tapes that we got. Here we go.
That's why when you look on the back of the dollar bill, you see there's two seals here. This is the only nation with a two-sided seal. This seal you see here with the pyramid is the seal of our ancestors and our federal government that we had set up in here in this hemisphere going way back. This is the seal of the 6 European tribes that we allowed to set up here. That is why above our seal says Annuit Coeptus. He had favored our undertaking. I mean, it was our federal government here that was already established, what they call Iroquois Confederacy, so on and so forth, was already established, that taught them the science of government and allowed them to set up here. And here you see this flag has 6 white stripes and 7 red. And the elders taught us that those 6 white stripes stands for the British, the Irish, the Scottish, the French, the Dutch, and the German. 6 European tribes that we allowed to set up here. And all they had initially was the eastern seaboard. The rest was ours. The elders also taught us some things. Now, I know this is going to sound crazy, but do the research and you're going to be surprised at what you find. The elders taught us that the original Nile was here. Old man Mississippi. The Missouri being the blue and the Ohio being the white. Until this day, where them two come together, there's a city there called Cairo to this day. And that area is called Little Egypt. Then you go down into what the elders taught us was Alabama, so on and so forth, being Lower Egypt. Then you get into Memphis, Tennessee, the Memphite theology. Kentucky, King Tut. And then you start to look a little further, and then you find out that there was an archaeological cover-up involving the Smithsonian Institute. where they found thousands and thousands of artifacts. They found artifacts showing human beings contemporary with dinosaurs. A lot of this information they put on ships and dumped into the Atlantic Ocean. Some of it they got still in hidden chambers that they say you can't go in there because it got asbestos and it's unsafe. There's a part of the Grand Canyon where they have all Egyptian names, Tet, Osiris, Isis, and they got that part blocked off. They said it's too dangerous for the people to go there. To this day, this exists.
So he told you about the Grand Canyon being blocked off, the oldest temple being found. Also, I'm almost done. I already got part 1 already loaded up already about the story of my mother, Inanna. Like you never heard. It's the Inanna the movie is gonna drop Friday. Matter of fact, let me show you a cover to it. Inanna the movie dropped Friday. I already got one part of it loaded up already. And when I tell you, you ain't never heard in detail, you ain't never heard the story. You ain't gonna be able to read this nowhere. You ain't gonna find this nowhere. This level of how the storyline is told. All right, so that's what I've been working on for the last couple of days. We got so many tapes I already loaded, but this I had to break it in parts. Watch this movie, you're gonna get the full story. And this right here going it's so, like the first, it's dropping so many secrets and so many, like I now channel all the information on this. So when you see this movie, man, you're gonna say, wow, this is how she broke down everything up in that thing. This the part 2 is hold on, I'm finna show you. It's like 3 different parts to it, but these just said some of the pictures in there. I'm just want to show you one more picture. That was part 1. I thought I had part 2 picture up in here too. Oh yeah, here you go, right here. When you see part 2, it's gonna look like this. All right, so this is gonna be part 2. Inanna House of Horror. How Inanna, like it's a lot of storylines that everybody don't got. Why? Because when you was there, you could get more details. See, when you there, you could get more details. So people when you see this movie and you hear all the details in it, you gonna know that hey, this person had to be there to know all. Like it's too much information. Like too much detail and too like you gonna think something else, right? When you hear all the it's like 4 parts to it though, y'all. I just want to let y'all know about that coming out Friday. We might drop 2 parts Friday and 2 parts Saturday. Each part is like 30 minutes long. All right. So back to what we were saying. Yeah, so stay tuned for that Inanna Return movie Friday. That joint, because I know y'all been waiting on the movie since the pickup, the 2030 pickup tape. I think that was the last movie we put out. But this one right here is the next. We're doing another movie for you because my girl said, "Well, you got to put out another movie for him." So why not do Inanna since we're doing the feminine week for the Nubian sisters? Why not cap it off with the story of the full story of Inanna? So that's gonna be hit. It's gonna be hidden. Now let's get back to what we were saying. The name of this tape is "What You Said About the Moors." Now, because the Moors is the main guys that why they trying to stop us. Let's go. Let me show you something because we got so many clips to roll, but I want to get some of these pictures off on you. Before we go farther, I want to explain a couple things. Yeah, this is Tamaray. Look, we are the Timerian Moors. We are the Timerian Moors. That's our nationality. The Timerian part is the Bebe kids, our nanas, and Inky them seed. Now let's get these. Hey, somebody say Young L, get these suckers, man. Get these suckers, y'all. Somebody say Young L, get these suckers. Now, every year in Philadelphia, they call it the Mama's Parade. And over in why they if it ain't that to the Moors, why they doing this? Why they doing the black every other year or every year? And why they doing this over in Amsterdam and in Europe, all over Europe? They do these rituals where they reenact them sacking the Moors. Now, why would they be doing something like that if it wasn't nothing to the Moors? Who's out here trying to tell you that the Moors ain't nothing? They right by us put on blackface just like these guys. Whoever's going around telling you that the Moors don't in America don't got nothing to do with America, they cut off from whoever telling you that they need to go put on blackface and lipstick and a fez and dress up like these guys. They might well get on alongside them because they doing the same thing they doing. Huh? We got more. Here's them playing like they the three kings, blackface like they the Moors. The three kings is the three wise men. The three stars in Orion's belt, the three pyramids in Giza, right? The nucleus, the protons, and the electrons. Because this whole system is based on three, you know. Hot, warm, and cold. Warm sits in the middle. But why they blackface and making fun of the Moors if there ain't nothing to it? They do it all. Look at this. Look at them. They do it all the time. And why they doing it in Philadelphia? What's up with Philadelphia? Wasn't the capital moved to D.C.? Wasn't the capital in Philadelphia? And then George Washington them moved it to D.C.? I'm telling you, man, somebody trying to run game on you when they're trying to tell you we ain't the Moors. Half of you, look, 70% of you. If you ain't no Moor, then you ain't no American. And if you ain't no American, you're not native to Turtle Island. And I'll debate anybody on that. If you say you're not a Moor, then you ain't from Turtle Island. You someone from somewhere else. I'll debate anybody on that. Why? Because the Moors origin from America. They didn't come from no Africa. The Barbary Moors are original from America. They went to Africa and set up that area of Morocco. This Abraham, all them was over here. This was the land of Israel. This is the land they talk about in the Bible. The Garden of Eden is in Florida. Georgia was Ethiopia. Where Cleopatra was. Cleopatra was over in Georgia. And that's what Caesar and them came from over there in Illinois. They found Alexandria. They found Mark Antony in Alexandria and them tomb over in Illinois. This is what the Smithsonian Institute covering up. Why are they blocking off the Grand Canyon? Here goes some more pictures of these people making fun of us. Why they doing this if it ain't nothing to it? The Moors ain't nobody. The Moors ain't did nothing. And that's why when you go to school and you graduate and you have had the Spanish Inquisition injected into your veins for 12 years or however long you go to their school, which really means hell, right? Once you got completed the injections, all the injections, the 12 years worth of injections, which is 12 years worth of slavery, after you did that, and then they cap you off with a fez with a cap on the top because what they telling you. They capping you off in the information. And then they give you a gown, right? Because they give you a cap and gown when you when you graduate, right? The gown is the part where they rock you to sleep. The gown is the part where they rock the Moors to sleep. I'm telling you, man. They cap you off and then rock you to sleep. Here they go again. They still doing it. Why do you guys doing all this if ain't nothing to it? That's all I'm saying. Why they got a black face and put the fez on and make fun? Mockery. That's how you know these are the Frugalroids, Yaku's drafted beings. The devils is the only ones that make fun of people. Devils is the only ones that mark people. That's how you know they Yaku's. This is Yaku's seed. His drafted beings who black facing to make fun of us because they overthrew us. Look at they go. Here they go again. This is what the real Islam. This is what my real Moors look like. Islam. These are the guys who are part of the deal to try to keep us asleep. Keep in mind, you Moors are the builder that was hit in the head, that got rocked to sleep. They talk about this in the third degree of the Freemason, where they talk about the builder, right? Hiram, which is really Haru, right? Haru is the widow's son because Inanna was the widow. We don't want to get too much into it. Inanna was really the real widow. Who's the widow's son? Inanna is the widow. Haru or Hiram, a higher form, a higher ram, becomes the widow's son. And that's why if you go study over in the Vatican and all of them, they paying homage to the Black Madonna, right? The Inanna and the son, the mother and son, they paying homage to it, kissing her and playing to it. Telling you, man, because it goes back to Inanna, but all that's gonna be revealed in the Inanna movie, right? Inanna gonna reveal all that in the movie. Here they go, right here. He got his regalia on. He got the mounds up there on his helmet, on his on the fez with all his regalia, and they ain't told him that. Hey, they probably gave him a little bit, but they ain't told him, hey man, you the prize, you the prize. When we get down to the top, you the prize. Here another one of their symbols. All right. Yeah, so now we're gonna get into that. We got to get into all that. Let's go back. Let's see what else we want to talk about before we get into some more of these videos. Okay, yeah, we'll come back to this. Let's get to some more of them videos, man, clips, because we got a lot of video clips to go over. And we're gonna begin to break some of this stuff down.
Understand the Moors is very difficult for us as a people to understand why we're in the position that we're in today. You cannot understand why we're in the position we're in today if you don't understand what happened in 1492. You cannot understand what happened in 1492 if you don't understand the Crusades. You cannot understand the Crusades if you don't understand the Moors. Because the very nature of the knowledge that the Crusaders, the Christian Europeans, got of the riches of the East, why Columbus was on the seas in the first place hundreds of years later, was because of what the Moors had brought into Spain.
Propaganda, sparked by the Crusades, has given us an enduring image. The diabolical Moor, a dark-skinned, savage.
We are from America, not Africa. This is a statue of a Florida indigenous chief.
Unofficially started fighting the Moors in South.
Hold on.
We are from America, not Africa. This is a statue of a Florida indigenous chief.
Unofficially started fighting the Moors.
We are from America, not Africa. This is a statue of a Florida indigenous chief.
Unofficially started fighting the Moors in South Florida. Okay?
Oh, so we went in, took over, and then we're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a lot of gold here, and now it's the richest city out there.
Yes.
Whoa! Went there and killed everybody, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They went there, killed everything, transferred the wealth to essentially the white people, the new white people, and that's all there is to the story, really.
There's been a giant psyop against the black community, this victimhood put on them, that they all came here.
All right, yeah, so the thing is, another thing, like I just pointed out, the Moors are not from Africa. The Moors are originally from America, and they left America and sailed. They built ships and sailed to Africa, and sailed around the coast of Africa and began jumping off, mixing over there. The Moors are originally from America. That's another game that they trying to run. Not only are they trying to tell you that the original native was from Africa, the original natives are the Moors. And then they try to tell you that the Moors was in North Africa, they only the Barbers. No, that's a bunch of crap. We got their whole game of what they wrote about us is a game and a lie, and we cracking all down, all right, biting right down all into it. Now let's get this next one.
Did you know there was once a black empire so powerful in history?
The part when the Renaissance happened, the Moors left from America. They was already civilized over here and had sewer systems, whole big major cities built, underground sewer systems. We already had that over here. When the Renaissance happened, we went over to Europe and civilized, started clapping them and started helping them clean up in Europe. See, the whole story is told backwards. I'm telling you, man. The Moors left from America and went to Europe and civilized them during the Renaissance and helped them out during the Renaissance, because they were peeing in pots and taking a dump in a pot and throwing it out the window. You ever heard your mama say you ain't here tripping and you ain't got a pot to pee in and a window to throw it out of? Well, she get they from the Europeans who, when the Moors left from America, went over to help them out and teach them how to use baking soda. We had already had our lime, all that, man. We had that over here. I'm telling you, man. They twisting the story when they trying to pinpoint us to one geographic location. When they say, "Oh, the Moors, they was in North Africa." No, the Moors sailed to North Africa and set up civilizations over there. That's how you get Morocco right there in Northwest Africa. The Moors took that over there. They was already over here though. I'm telling you, man. And it's like this. You can keep arguing with it, but the truth about to unfold, man. I'm just saying.
This is gonna blow your mind. This is the real Tartarian original family lineage. Okay, this is going back really far. We're looking at like 11th, 12th century. That is still, I think, the Habsburg Moor. It's amazing. The shield. The shield is the same thing. It's the same shield. He's also carrying something that I've seen in China, because I have traveled extensively around East Asian countries, especially Hong Kong and Taiwan. That is a very important that is on top of all the Taoist temples. It's crazy. That it actually is also associated with one of the three kings that visits Jesus.
What if I told you the Moors didn't just influence America? They shaped how the country functions today.
Yeah. The Moors are the civilizers. They are the ones who built the mounds. Tahuti came over here first to set up the city of the gods and the city of the island of Atlantis. That was all over here. This was the land of Nod, the city of Aura, Muoras. I gotta keep beating this over your head. This is why the killer clowns is out to stop the when you go talking about the Moor. They don't care about you mentioning no other name, really. They don't care about you calling yourself nothing else. But if you start talking about Moor, let's collect a whole book on them. Let's study them. Let's find out what time he go to sleep, what time he wake up, what he eat. They want to find out everything about you when you start talking about the Moors. Why? It ain't nothing to it. Who are these people that's telling us this? Somebody, look, yeah, I'm sick and tired of it. Who are what you say about the Moors again? You want some more? You want some more? What they say about the Moors again?
Moors were African men who went into Europe around 711 AD, and they really civilized Europe because Europe was going through a dark age. Europe was really struggling because after the Vandals had basically destroyed Rome, everything was backwards over there. So the Moors went in and they ushered in the Renaissance era. They brought in science, mathematics, astrology. They brought all of this into Europe.
They are bringing in hot and cold running water.
See, the only part that he might have wrong is the narrative that these people came out of Africa. The Moors didn't come from Africa. The Moors came from America, and they went to Africa. That's the only part that he got wrong. The Moors didn't come from Europe. The Moors came from America. The word America translated into the land of the Moors. How many times I gotta say this? God, dog, man. Go look. Hey, go watch the tape I put out called the in all on the origin of Moors. Now let's listen to
1324. While on a pilgrimage to the Holy Kaaba, he stopped in Egypt and told this historian about his brother Abu Bakr II. Abu Bakr II was a very interesting person. He rejected his right to the crown and handed it to his brother in 1311 so that he could discover new lands and take Allah's religion to these places. Of course, crossing the Atlantic Ocean was not an easy task. So Abu Bakr II summoned expert marine engineers from all over the Arab world. He put the ships that these engineers built through numerous durability tests, and at last a ship worthy of the task was built. Then one morning, 200 ships carrying 2 years' supply of provisions, 200 years before Christopher Columbus set sail for America. And we're talking about Muslim African people here. And it's so interesting that Columbus himself has written that African people lived in America. He continues to note that the Indians knew how to melt gold and combine it with other metals, and that they did this using a method known as the African method. It is well known that the Mali Empire was famous for its gold and other treasures, so it was no coincidence that the Indians used the African method. As a matter of fact, the BBC has mentioned this topic on its website. And even today, there are still people who speak and write in the Mali Empire's language. In 1564, the French produced a map of Florida. If you look carefully, you can see that there are places named after cities in Morocco and Andalusia. This tells us that there were Muslims that had migrated and settled there. In a book written by the Harvard University professor Leo Weiner in 1920, it is stated that based on certain events and evidence, Christopher Columbus was certainly aware of a Muslim population living in America. Let's look at an entry from Columbus's diary dated 1493. These people's clothing resembles that of the Muslims of Granada. He also mentions that he saw a mosque in Cuba. These sentences clearly show us that Muslims were present. In the year 2000 in Spain, the Duchess of Medina Sidonia. During the palace's restoration, Duchess Luisa de Toledo found documents written in Arabic and dated back to the Andalusian period. These documents described America precisely and proved that Muslims were there before Columbus arrived. Her family, who came from the Andalusian elite, had preserved these documents for years. She was worried that the Spanish might destroy these documents, so she gathered them and published them in a book. In this book, titled Africa versus America, she portrays all the details that prove that Muslims were present before Columbus arrived. In fact, the BBC interviewed Louisa Isabel in 2001. Now let's look at the proof. Who really did discover America? Whose name should be recorded in the history books? And how can you prove such a discovery? In 1929, a map was found in Turkey which astonished thousands of people, including those at NASA. Some scientists question whether it was even produced by a human.
Hey, check this. I heard a lot of people, they must then watch I got the whole storyline of Abu Bakr and Mansa Musa in the playlist. We already did the whole storyline. See, I heard them say that Mansa Musa sailed to Central America. He didn't sail to the upper part, but yes, he did. Yes, he did. See, you got to listen to the whole storyline. I already got the whole storyline out. Abu Bakr sailed up the Mississippi River, and he bought land from the Lakota people in the Black Hills. And really, he didn't buy the land. The land actually was given. It's kind of like this. It's like he gave them a gift of gold. He gave the natives a gift of gold, right? And then when he gave them all the gold, because he had brought the gold from Central America. He had gave them gifts a whole bunch of gold, right? In exchange, they gave him their daughter. Some of them chiefs gave him their daughter. And so that daughter came with a plot of land, with land. Them daughters came with some land that they gave to Abu Bakr and his people. And that's how Abu Bakr mixed in with the Lakota people. Right there in South Dakota and North Dakota in the Black Hills, where they got Mount Rushmore. Mount Rush the Moors. You ain't put it together yet, right? Check this out. And then, not only that, Abu Bakr sails back over to Africa from and they were Melodian Moors. They were Melodian Moors. They sailed back from Africa because their dad, their origin is from over here. They already the West Africans already tell stories about their ancestors coming from over in America first. We already played that on the Raw Hayes tape. The Africans tell about their ancestors coming from America, the Western Africans, who were Moors, right? You starting to put it together. Mansa Abu Bakr sailed back to Africa and give gold to his brother, who become the richest guy in Africa. Now, if they telling you all the gold is in Africa, how a man leave Africa, come over here and get gold and go back over there, now he the richest guy in Africa? How that happening if Africa where all the gold was in? Come on, man. Something ain't adding up with all what they telling you. The richest man that ever lived still on date to this day. Got all his riches from America. See, they trying to lose us in the South with this everybody came from Africa thing. That's the whole game. I'm thinking like that's the whole game. Everybody, they trying to make Africa the central point so they can steal everybody else land. They say all they gotta do is say, oh yeah, you from Africa, and then they can steal everybody else birthrights on the land. That's part of the game, man. I'm telling you, man. Let's roll some more, man. We ain't done yet.
After they murdered all the prophets, they used the prophet's name to...
Thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. Hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. And we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people.
And you might not didn't understand what Donald Trump was saying there, but pretty much to sum it up, they're talking about the dissolving of the T-bonds, where people when they get their nationality back. But they got a slick way of doing it because you got Donald Trump is tricky. He's a Trump card. They were gonna try to put. They finna try to, and they were supposed to have it rolled out a while back, but I guess that deadline got changed with the national IDs. But let's see what else we got.
We know the truth now here. Let's get into it.
You the idiot that damn near ran me over, aren't you? Wait till I find your boss. He gonna fire your metallic ass.
You would do well to mind your tongue, Moor.
Ooh, you got to have major coins behind this. Who's backing you? Puffy?
Silence, Moor.
I'm interested in learning more about your culture. It is my understanding that the Normans are excellent dancers.
If you want to know more about my culture, remove the dog from the table.
Can't stand the game, Moor.
More? Well, I prefer lordship.
Now the Moor's a swordsman.
And keep in mind, when Martin went back in the time, he was in America. When Martin went back in time on Black Nights, he was in America. Keep that in mind. He wasn't in Europe. He was in America when he went back in time. So that's another game you got to keep in mind. Even when Will Smith, they was calling Will Smith a Moor. They was in the Wild Wild West in America. Even when they were calling, he said black or Moor like yourself. He was talking on Wild Wild West when he talking to Will Smith, a black or Moor like yourself. They was in America. Keep that in mind. What else we got?
You the idiot that damn near ran me over, aren't you?
After they murdered all the prophets, they used the prophet's name to perpetrate their fraud, and the world bought it. And so they have the sign, they have a crown, and they have a cross stuck through it. And they have in hoc signo vince. And that means in this sign we conquer. And so you got all these Asiatics knowing that the Nazarene, who was of their same bloodline, had hair like lamb's wool and skin like burnished brass, it was burnt in the oven. And they got a Roman sitting up there, and they know that he was a rabbi of the highest level of the crystalline mind of the Essene Brotherhood, Jew. And they lied on him, said that he established Christianity and that he brought it to the earth under a cloud of glory with the cross. And they all know that he came in the sign of Pisces and brought the sign of the fish. And they lied on him, and they murdered him and been murdering our people the same way, and they still don't put two and two together. And now, because this is a long war, don't think that this thing just began. It didn't really just begin. The war between the Moors and the Romans are really ancient. They come from the Punic Wars, on up to the Crusades, on up to the Battle of Poitiers, near Tours, near Poitiers, France, 1812 on Lake Michigan, and then our final fall. They call the Spanish War, which is really Louisiana territory, not Spain on the other side. Then they divided us, they called the Trail of Tears, took all the children from the mothers, murdered all those who had the culture, then branded us Negro, black, and colored, and told us they brought us here on ships, and we lost not only our identity, lost our consciousness that we're absolutely connected to this land, absolutely indigenous, although we ain't Indians, so some people call us that. But you must understand when in history, when they say Indian and black or Moor, they're all relative, except the black and Indian are misnomers. Moor is the true identity. Pope Philip II of 1511 issued a bull that the Moors would no longer be called Moors, but they would be called Spaniards. And that's how the language became to be known as Spanish, which it is not. It's Moorish Latin in multiple dialects. So you have Moors who think that they came from Kemet on the other side, although we're the same bloodline. That's not our home. Our home is here. That's what Malcolm found. That's what that French Muslim told Malcolm when Malcolm made the Hajj, and he began to realize that enemy was on both sides. Told him he wasn't when he visited Mecca, he wasn't visiting home. He left home. He knew then it was over. You know, we're walking all around the world calling himself black Muslim. And Muslim is no different than a fetus. A fetus is anything that is born with muscles and tissues, electrical from nature. It's not a religion. It is the nature of your makeup, your absolute natural makeup from the divine creator, your mom. And now that's the real truth. But people can't handle the truth. They don't want the truth.
Who's Beethoven? Beethoven was Thoven Bey. He was a Moor.
His mother was a Moor. Yes. And when he went deaf, that melanin kicked in. The inner eye kicked in. He heard music better when he was deaf than he heard it otherwise. There's also another myth that he cut the webbing of his hand down to the bone so that he can get a better stretch. So there's some of the 32nd chords that he has, he plays that most people can't play. They need like two people playing. That's why some people, in certain instances, you see two people playing Beethoven, two pianos playing Beethoven. That's because of what he did when he stretched his finger.
Beethoven was called a Moor when he was growing up. Beethoven, there's a book about him called Beethoven's Hair because people were so infatuated with the...
When the Moors came into Europe, the first slavery was white slavery, traded in their own people for hundreds of years. White folks sold their people to the Moors the moment they saw Moors coming. It was of great pride to be able to have a black face on your family shield. It was an honor for you to have a name like Moore or Morrison. Yes, white slavery was it. Selling particularly their daughters. They would sell them all over the world. And you know, in many families, the wives and the children reportedly were so relieved when they were sold. They were better treated by Moors as servants than they were as wives to their European husbands. See, we don't know this because they are so focused on us in the newspaper nowadays. It seems like we are the ones that are so perverse and depraved.
The Moors were black people that dominated the European, the Iberia, Spain and Portugal, and called it Al-Andalus or Andalusia, from 711 to 1492. And over a period of 800 years, they finally conquered the black people in Spain, enslaved them. A lot of the first slaves to come to the Western Hemisphere did not come from Africa. They were black.
And the Moors are, and I just saw it again. I was just like, yo, if you erase our history, like most black people, we don't know where we come. We think we came from slaves. We don't know our bloodline.
In 1492, the Moors were expelled from Spain, and the Jews were massacred.
It's still to be determined. You've got to give the judge your bank statements, okay? You think you can do that? I'm sure you can do that. By the way, tell me about your habit. I don't see goats very often.
This is a Fez. I'm a Moorish American.
Okay.
Yes. And Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, but born in America.
Well, congratulations. Yes. Don't see those very often, you know?
You see us all the time. We're the misnomer so-called Negroes, blacks, and colors, and African Americans. Our proper political determination, the political distinction is Moors.
Moors.
Yes.
Well, I learned something. Thank you very much. All right, be interested to see what happens, okay?
It was a time when white people or the other culture were slaves, and the Moors did them dirty. But did they ever teach you about a Moor in school? No more Moors. You don't even, because they don't want to see that visual of us winning, because that's what you do when you take over a culture. You take their religion, you erase their heroes, their artifacts, and anything they ever did strong, and you make them think that they've never been strong, and they've always been weak, and they've always needed you. And that's how they did this to us. Look how strong we are. Why are we listening to them?
Damn dash dropping on the Moors.
The Roman days. But you have to think about things, right? A long time ago, Egypt was in control, they was black. And other cultures were enslaved. The Moors running around, having sex with everybody's wife, conquering everything on elephants. And, another culture was like, yo, we can't have this shit no more. And not only because these guys are strong, they like to take shit. They're taking over everything. So when we get the rock, we have to make sure we keep it for a while, for our family. So there was a plan implemented to control us, to govern us, to keep strong people in control, to keep us thinking we need weak people. Why do strong people think they need weak people to survive? It makes no sense. That's programming to be thinking that shit. It's a program. It's a plan. And the thing is, this lasted about a couple of 100 years. They had us for that. But there's awareness now. So now we have to make a plan so the right people stay in control for the next couple of 100 years. So our kids ain't got to go through this. But what is that plan and who's going to implement it? So, does anybody have any answers? I'm asking, Like, I'm not going to pretend I know something I don't. I can't tell somebody to do something I wouldn't do myself. It ain't nothing I can tell you how to do right now but make a television network, because that's all I'm doing. Make some content. Get smart. Believe in yourself. I'm not one for really complaining. I'm one for making a plan. What's the plan? I'm looking for somebody to give me a plan. I need it right now. I need a plan. I ain't gonna lie. This shit gotta stop. Because I've been the guy that, y'all know me, right? I keep a camera on to protect me, and that camera did not protect that dude. Like, I would have been on the floor. What are you doing? There's a camera on you. What are you doing? Nigga didn't care. He was posing. Shit is nuts.
Oh yeah, I like Dame, man. I remember Cam said that he was up in there tomorrow. He finna go some pounds and down, get him some more money on his deal. And then Dame said, "Oh no, he didn't mean that, right? Because they ain't think everywhere bugged." And he was right. Everywhere was bugged because the feds ended up coming down on him, Jay Prince, Irv Gotti, and Suge Knight, right? Orchestrated by Jay-Z telling on them about the black distribution label they was gonna come out with. Now, somebody asking the question, why in the comments, why do we do paperwork? Well, these European Moors brought the paperwork. We did everything by oral tradition. And when you claiming your nationality, one of the main key components in the claiming your nationality is doing a public announcement and oral tradition. So if you do public announcement and oral tradition, that's qualifiable in our tradition over here as claiming and saying who you are outright, whether it be on social media, any one of these. We used to put it in the news. They used to put it in the newspaper. Now we got tapes on how to do the paperwork too for those people that want to go through the paperwork. But at this point, like we said, in one aspect, they don't honor the paperwork. But if you in that going, and most time, if you're going through something like tickets and everything, it's so many ways to beat them because they fraud in so many ways. The paperwork thing is a long story. But like I say, that I hope that answers your question. We did oral tradition over here. And like I say, even when you go through the process of how some of the Moor Science Temple do it, it's a part of it is oral tradition, right? Okay, like you put it in the newspaper, you making your affirmation, you making a public announcement that hey, this is me. I'm no longer part of the fraud. This is who I am. ASAP, letting it be known on the microphone. You feel me? All right, let's go to the next
dirty trick that the Europeans do. You would need to understand its political ramifications. If you transact business in another man's name, don't talk about estates and don't talk about property because you don't even own your own body. And this is where, under the Christian Black Codes, where they set up where the marriage license is registered in the Department of Commerce, then registered in the Department of Orphans, and this is where your children, even before they're born, become wards of the state, which is a legal term for night slave. And see, nobody's offended because they know that most of our people don't read law, and so they just hear the word and it's interesting, you know. And then the scholars ain't going to tell them because they playing this black game. Do you understand? When they know these people aren't black. I want you to write down black, and I want you to go into Oxford Dictionary, and I'm going to show you why they don't have hardcover Oxford dictionaries in communities where persons of color exist, because they want you to think it's an identity. Color means actually artificial person, means a fake. Singular as distinguished from that which is real. So they need promoters to make you think.
But I'm a Moor. Islam. I'm a Moor. And got sense enough to know I'm a Moor. And ain't gonna never argue with you that I'm not a Moor. And wouldn't come in your house or come among you and say I'm a Moor if I didn't feel in my heart, in my mind, in my soul that I am. I would tell you, God damn it, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Ain't no more. So if I say it, I mean it. And if I mean it, generally, I say it.
We're the true Americans. The European colonists took over and started calling themselves Americans and started changing the history, saying that they brought us here. We were always here. We were always here. You've got pyramid kuntas in Central South America that are older than the pyramids in Giza in Misraim that the people call Egypt. Older. You've got civilization principles that are here in Lower Egypt that you call Kentucky and Tennessee area that is older than they are in what you call Egypt. But those things are held secret because they don't want these people to know that they're the heirs apparent to this land. So they branded them Negro, black, and colored to cut off the linear history. So when the people think they're Negro, black, and colored, they can't tie to the illustrious history of the founders of civilization. And as a matter of fact, they keep trying to leave and everybody else trying to come here because they don't even know that this is the hub, the North Gate.
Hey, shout out to teacher Taj Tariq Bey, man, because and I got a lot of more tapes coming out with a lot of that information, a lot more of the more science, like going into intricate details on other parts, because we can't neglect. We got to tie in all the parts. That's why we got so many different playlists. We got Young Girls Law School. You can go and just study none but law classes. We got the more science tapes. You can go study none but more science. We got the We got the Native American tape separate, but they really should run together because the real Native Americans are the Moors. When you get down to it, it's like this. We ain't got time to play these games with the facts. It's too much evidence proving the latter. You hear me? Let's run another one.
That's the beginning of the European hegemony on the North Gate. This is why persons in your secret societies in your highest degrees refer to themselves as the keepers of the North Gate. That's the cosmological name for Turtle Island, or what you know as North America, land of the Moors, the land of Nod. And everybody knows it but you. You understand? And when you think that your so-called black leaders don't have this information just because they don't talk about it, don't hold your breath.
Hey, I swear, this is my first time seeing that part where Taj Tariq Bey said this was the land of Nod and this is America. He just said the same thing that I've been saying. Let me run that back. It's my first time seeing that, what he said that. I know I just about watched everything that he put out, but this is my first time, and it maybe he said it before, but it just not came to me, and now I'm hearing more what he said. Taj Tariq Bey was already saying that this was the land of Nod, just like I've been saying.
That's the beginning of the European hegemony on the North Gate. This is why persons in your secret societies in your highest degrees refer to themselves as the keepers of the North Gate. That's the cosmological name for Turtle Island, or what you know as North America, land of the Moors, the land of Nod. Even that's the fact. Because they poisoned the food. They've given most of you dead pledges, because most people don't know that mortgage means dead pledge. Contract is dead and you're the pledge. That's what it means. And understand, those systems did not come in to force until 1913, after Skull and Bones Woodrow Wilson sold the government to, under the secret Treaty of Verona that you have right there, to representatives of England for the Popes of Rome to sell what they had conquered. Finally, the last of the generations that had any inkling of consciousness of their bloodline. And they met on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. And under the secret Treaty of Verona, all the Christian nations, representatives, agreed to not contradict each other. And they split up more of your estate. Keep in mind, 1884, 1885, with the Berlin Conference, was that first major meeting of the Christian nations. How many of you know that the 1040 form comes under that secret Treaty of Verona, and everything that you give, according to the entry of the age of Aries, or what you call the season of Aries, to the east, that you call East stars now in the east, that 40% goes to the Queen of England, and the other 60% goes to the Popes of Rome. Not a penny goes to your children. How many people know that that's a tribute under the secret Treaty of Verona? And how come your leader guys haven't told you all that? Why you're so poor? Why you're being drained? Why they don't want to discuss these things? Why they didn't want to say, well, we gotta make somebody like our complexion? Well, how about getting them out your pockets? How about that? That's so hard. Secret Treaty of Verona. To enforce that secret Treaty of Verona.
Yeah, so pretty much he's saying the same thing. I don't know who this dude Glass Moon is, but he might be a COINTELPRO. I don't know what he might be. Nah, bro. The Moors, America means more, and we are the real Americans. We are the real natives, indigenous to this land. You might be working with the agents. You might be working with COINTELPRO agents. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones that's trying to stop us from saying that we ain't the real Americans. They're the number one guys that's out there. So he might be COINTELPRO operations, or he might just be misinformed or he just needs to learn a little bit more. That's what I think. because they protected the North Gate, and why would we have to start the Moors? Number one on the list. And give anybody that they get far enough with it 2,000 years in prison, like Jeff Fort. You know what I'm saying? It ain't funny, man. But, you know, people just, you know, I don't know where these people come from. Talking about that we ain't from, that Moors ain't from America. No, Moors are from America. We ain't from Africa. We left. We are the civilizers. We are the ones that built all the pyramids, all the mounds you see that was in Ohio, all the mounds that was in Florida and Louisiana. Moors built those mounds. You never heard of Empress Medici, and the Washita mound builders, the Moors? We ain't got to keep beating this over your head after this. You know what I'm saying?
Meaning no cures.
Pay attention, it's free.
No cures.
Just discussion of disease.
Yes, complaining about what Rome does to us. And then even on connotative linguistics again, then calling him white man, which means sovereign. And it doesn't apply to him. And as soon as you call him sovereign, you just call him God of the land. Then he acts like it. Then we call him racist.
How do you define sovereign?
Sovereign is
and sovereignty.
Sovereignty or sovereignty generally is politically accepted around the globe. And this applies to nations or persons that are part of the nations. And outside of that venue, sovereignty generally does not apply. Meaning that me and you, brothers, family, right? I respect your rights as a man, as a brother of the blood, in divine laws of nature. The sovereign right is when we recognize the honor of our mothers and fathers, which means when we honor the truth of our family. That's called nato, or the navel, that you're born a woman, ma and son, mother and son. The principle that sovereignty is recognized within the national venue. It is not recognized outside the national venue. As an example.
Hey, sorry, Todd, if you're watching that, I had to cut. Cause hey, that one I'm saving for this next class. I'm gonna put out when it's gonna go into sovereignty. So some of these clips I'm gonna play on my next show. But I want to make this point clear, like the guy said in the thing. The West Africans who are more, some group of them are Moors. They say they origin from America. They got stories talking about how they people came from America. The Moors originate from America, the land of Nod. Just like, man, I'm glad I heard Taj say that. He just gave me more, and I already got a tape that I'm putting out right now called America's the land of Nod. But Taj just confirmed it for me again when he said the same thing that Zachariah Stitchen said. Zachariah Stitchen said in the glossaries of his lost books of Inky that the land of Nod was America. And Taj Tariq Bey just confirmed it again. And I got more information. And Nod is Nud. Nud is Inky. Inky, one of his names was Israel. So that make you people from the land of Nod, the Moors, another y'all call the Israelites. Now, if you want to go from this perspective, Abraham was from Ur of Chaldea. That was Ur of Chaldea was in America, right? So Ur, one of Ur, which means Muur, the Moors. So Abraham see the Ishmaelites and the Israelites would be Muslim. Would be Moors. Now, how you heard in one of them clips where they said that Christopher Columbus said that it was already Muslims over here. Now, how did them Muslims get over here? That's because in this land of Nod, there was another landmass where you call it Hawaii called the city of Muur, which this was part of it. In that city of Muur, it was controlled by Amun, who is Murdoch. Another name for Murdoch is Melchizedek, the king of peace, right? And he was over a city called Muur, or Jerusalem, the city of peace, which was that landmass you call in Hawaii, where at one point he signed, if you read the books of Enoch, who another name for him is Adafa, he signed Adafa to the land of Nod, America, this land. to convert the people who they considered, from their perspective, to be part of the devils or the 200 fallen, to al-Islam. Not the al-Islam you talking about when you talking about they worshiping the Kaaba and all that. Not the Muhammadism. We're talking about al-Islam civics, Murdoch's religion, or Murdoch's way of life, al-Islam, because Murdoch, Melchizedek, son, Adafa over to America. And when he got over here, he began going around preaching to the different cities. And these cities converted to al-Islam, and those cities became known as Salem. That's how you get to a whole bunch of cities over in America called Salem. And the people of these towns became known as Musalams, ones of peace. And then when the Spanish Inquisition came later, when they came with the Christianity, they went around to these different cities, burning these people because they was already beefing with the Muslims going back when they sacked the Muslims in Granada. But that's gonna be a whole nother tape. That's gonna be a whole nother tape. Let me see. I gotta run a couple more. Let's see what we got.
That is it. They were attacking the Sabians, which is you. You're the real Saba. The cover-up is called Jew. There's no such thing as Jew. What that means is the hybrid aliens who attack the Sabians, which is the Asiatic Africans that knew the earth, knew the minerals. That's why it's called jewel. And that's contemporary. And they've been doing what? Going into your house, into your lands, robbing you, murdering off the wise women, stealing their estates, and turning it over to the priesthood and the church. That's why you got all these beautiful buildings. They've been robbing women for centuries and stealing their estates. That's where you get the witch burnings from. The so-called witches are the real priests of life. They are the matriarchs. They were the key.
He even went into a little bit of the burning of the stake thing during the Spanish Inquisition in those cities that I was talking about. Yeah, so like I said, man, even the white thing, the white thing, when we talk about the white people, because we were making fun of the white people, that's not even, they're not even white people. It's all that is status. White, black, it's all status. All these are ethnic groups to be able to label us as chattel, property, right? What else we got? Let's run these last.
Black is the code for a slave. Once you start taking the fiction and making it retroactive, you just again gave up your birthright. So how do you do it? One of the first lessons is you are not Negro, black, or colored, or Ethiopian. And you got Moabite, Canaanite, Hittites. Jew is really a degree of knowledge in ancient culture, not really a bloodline, though we may be Hebrew. Do you understand? Tribal.
Of our natural wealth with the 601, the 6102 executive order, Franklin D. Roosevelt and the Killer Clowns. And so they got us walking around with paper butt money, toilet paper money that you can wipe your butt with, fiat currency. And they just like us thinking we paying some bills or thinking we paying something when we ain't doing nothing but in a monopoly game. We in some kind of monopoly game with some fake monopoly money, and we still broke and still don't own nothing. Even if you would have paid, say you paid it out, you can't pay nothing off with no monopoly money. People snap out of it. All this information has been out too long for people not to know, be up to speed on this.
Watch
and I want
till
you to
the
also
end.
recognize why you're not going to find information like this in your school books. Why? Because it will liberate you. Because it puts everything back into context. And it starts to show you who's who. George Washington, and for those scholars who would dispute it, there's your reference from documents of American history. So don't think the scholars don't know this stuff. They just ain't talking. Letter from George Washington to Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sultan of Morocco, city of New York, December the 1st, 1789. And he's wearing his Masonic garb, standing on the floor of a Sar set. Those black and white tiles represent a Sar and a Set, the upper world, the lower world. Are we clear? All right. And the G stands for geometry. And these, that compass in the square is referred to in the Bible as the carpenter's tools. And Jesus was a carpenter. You understand? Good. All right. All right. Now, anyway. Great and magnanimous friend, since the date of the letter which the late Congress, by their president, first sentence let you know that he wasn't the first president, you see, from his own letter. So you see why information like this is dangerous to be exposed to the common people who have been miseducated, who think Georgie was the first president when he was the 9th. Because if they gave you the other history, it begins to tie you back. And the leader guys don't want you to have that information because they can't play the black game and start marching and praying. And they're asking you for $5. Oh, make it 10, Jesus is half. You know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I want you to pay attention to this, but when we get into it, I want you to look what is obvious to you, and so that we can get down to some of the politics. And don't forget your question, brother. I ain't forget you. All right? Since the date of the letter which the late Congress by their president addressed your Imperial Majesty, the United States of America have thought proper to change their government and institute a new one agreeable to the Constitution, of which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. So you can understand the Constitution didn't come from them, did it? It was adopted by them. Now you understand what Obama was saying when he tell you that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law? I'm going to go on to Article 11 of the Treaty of Tripoli from the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that Obama read to the world and show you what he was reading and show you how it went over people's heads. And he's telling you. The time necessarily employed in the arduous task and the disarrangements occasioned by so great though peaceable a revolution will apologize and account for your majesties not having received those regularly advised marks of attention from the United States which the friendship and magnanimity of your conduct toward them afforded reason to expect. The United States having unanimously appointed me to supreme executive authority in this nation, you see he was appointed. Now later on you're going to find out why. Your Majesty's letter of August 17, 1788, so this is 2 years before he was appointed. He's talking about correspondences that were going on. How come you ain't getting this in school? Because they don't want you to know that you're standing on Morocco, that the land is Morocco, the occupational government is the United States, distinguished from the land. It's a foreign religious corporation belonging to the Jesuits. You're under occupation. And you're referred to as the Great Masonic Secret. And Mason means mother and son. Aset and Horus, or what they call Isis and Horus, or like they say in the church, Jesus and Mary, mother and son, and the study of Masonry. Masonry, that's what Masonry is. More science.
Inanna and Hiram. Inanna gonna break that down on the Inanna Return. If you're just not coming in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We got the Inanna Return movie coming out on Friday. She's gonna break a lot of the stuff down he was just talking about how they worship the Black Madonna and how the Knights of Templar control the wealth, and they really protecting it for the Big Mama. They really protecting Big Mama's gold, and all that gold they collected is Big Mama's gold. Because they swore oath with the divine feminine, these guys. These knights, we got tapes on that. The Knights of Templar and the divine feminine. But if you're just not coming in, like I say, you got to roll it back. You might have missed a lot, man. We just did a lot. That's a lot right there. We got a couple more. Let's roll these
the true history of the Moorish people at that point by these initiates. And that America was Almaricanos. We got the name America from Almaricanos, not from Amerigo Vespucci. And Almaricanos means El Morocco. And that Morocco was the Sultanate of Morocco was the ruler of America at one point. Now this goes back into a very deep history. And he was here, he came back to
This is why I disagree with that part. I don't believe that the student was the ruler of America. I believe that student just ruled that little part. That he ruled that part, that western part of Morocco for the Moors for over here. The main empire was over here. When they go back and show you what the original White House looked like, and then the White House that they got over there, right? Dar Islam, the White House they got over there, you can see the connections. I believe that the Moors, and I got a lot of evidence to prove this, that the Moors sailed over to West Africa and set up the little Morocco over there in connection with this being already the original Moroccan. I'm gonna have Moors receipts backing that up, right? But like I said, the land of Nod, the land of Nu, Enki, in the Israelites, the Hebrews, all that is all connected.
It's very important for people to know the real history, because not to know the real history, you must know world history and European history, and you must dismiss the black and white game. If you don't, you're already in the trap. You're in the matrix. All right. The other thing is, because certain things that we were talking about earlier, different things that we're hitting on, and hearing people say different things. One of the things I recognize that a lot of people fail to recognize is law, what it is not, what brings it about. And so I think with a lot of us, this can help. And I want to go to this point first, then we're going to open up the questions so that we can deal with the matters that are important or that's before us. Now, pardon me, all civilization operates on contract. There's no such thing as civilization operating without contract. Contract is an agreement, a treaty, constitution, verbal, oral, however. They're covenants. They're all forms of contract. One of the things that I see that's a weakness with us is because of the usurpation of the United States Republic, which the Moors helped set up. People unconsciously keep equating the U.S. democracy and the United States Republic, which is the first weakness. Now, I'll make it very, 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 very clear. The U.S. democracy has no law. The United States Republic of Morocco has the Constitution. They cut Morocco off. That is what the slavery really is. Do you understand? People's concept of what the slavery is in the Western Hemisphere is totally wrong. So before you can really understand how to deal with the law, you must understand what the secret societies did. You have to have, put it this way, if you don't have any knowledge as to what is the body of information or the foundation principle body of information that the secret societies across the world have, you can't understand how and why governments are run. Do you understand? It's not left to emotions. And we have a tendency when waking up to still mix emotions with realities. This is where we get caught in the matrix that everybody just is talking about. And that vague area where foreign authorities are able to take jurisdiction in other areas where they have none. And then we get to the position of arguing what the law is and what the law is not. And so you come back to the foundation principles.
You Muslim Khalid? Yes, I am. But I'm a Moor. I'm a Moor. And got sense enough to know I'm a Moor. And ain't gonna never argue.
Hey y'all, that's the last video that I had. But I want to talk to y'all just for a second. Like, if you're just not coming in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And like I say, you might have to go back to the beginning because it's been 2 hours long, right? That we've been going over stuff. And that, you know, at this point, it's got to be more to it. Like we said, than what they telling you, because it's like even though my bro Rod, I know Rod just he just really don't like the dirty Moors, the ones that look like us but ain't us, and they look like the Moors but ain't the Moors. You gotta keep in mind, these people are planet poachers. They are off-world planet poachers. They came here to steal everybody's land. And they say they Moors, but they not. They not the Moors. They join everybody. They infiltrate everybody. Christians, Jewish people, Islam, they infiltrate everybody and say that they them, but they not. I'm telling you. The North Gate. The North Gate is a cosmological name for Turtle Island. Big Mama's land. Who is Big Mama? Inanna. Right? Ishtar. Your real nationality is Timerian Moors. The Timerian Moors. That's one of your nationalities. I'm telling you. They know this. That's the secret that they guard. This ancient Kemet. This the land of Nod. This the city of Aura. Of Chaldea. The land they said was a land of the demons. Because they called us demons because of the 200 fallen, and they mixed in with the people over here when they came down in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. And they began teaching civilizing the humans. They began teaching the humans about makeup, about deodorant, about a whole bunch of list of stuff. We put a tape out called What the 200 Fallen Taught Their Children. And some of these people, some of these Moors, or some of these 200 fallen can be classified as Moors. And they had the knowledge of the mound building. One group of them, these Igigis, the mound buildings, they was called the Tarzizians. That they were ant-like extraterrestrial species who were part of the Igigis, who taught these humans or their children who they mixed with how to build mounds. And then another group came in. You see these on not Star Island, it's another island. Easter Island, the statues you see is dedicated to these beings called the Terus, who had cone-shaped heads. They talk about these beings over in China, and they the ones that influenced the point onto the pyramid, because it's different extraterrestrial influence in this civilization of all the knowledge that we getting. It's a mixture of some of it is a mixture of different extraterrestrial groups who came in and taught their way of life. And like I say, one of them was called the Terus. Another name for them is I'll think of it in a minute. The Coneheads, where they made a movie about them. But the point, if you go look at Pharaoh Huni's head, you'll see that he got a cone-shaped head. Pharaoh Huni, and he was the one. They saying that it was instrumental in putting together the Black Pyramid, the bent pyramid. Yeah, the Battle of Los Angeles. You remember that, right, Archangel? Yeah, so this is the divine plane of truth. We're going into the Aquarian age. No more black and white, yin and yang, or dualities. This is reality, not duality. And so no more, we ain't going for the game no more, where they switched all of the land masses around, telling us stuff was over here and over there. Because when you do a lie, it's always going to be a little truth in it. It's got to be a little truth in it. And that little truth, because all you need is the mustard seed of truth to find out the rest of the truth. So that they left a mustard seed of truth in their lie, because they had to have that mustard seed of truth in the lie in order for it to hold up as long as it did. Because we wouldn't have went forward anyway. But now we really know that they lying. They a line about, okay, this was over there, that was over here, and that was, they switched. They trying to 3-card Molly us, lose us in the sauce. And then not only that, they trying to conquer and divide us by telling you the Native Americans and the Moors are two different people. Come on, man. Why don't do that no more? Stop doing that, because the ancestors is upset with you. And the people who you calling dirty Moors, they wasn't no Moors. They were avatars for disagreeable angelical beings who came down into avatars and wanted to overthrow the earth-born. This is bigger than Moors and all that. It's bigger than that. This is about some group of extraterrestrials who came down in avatars that look like us and trying to overthrow us and steal our land. They planet poachers. It's bigger than this. This is galactical, right? This is galactical, man. Hey, if you're new to the channel, man, you want to get those 8 books by the Young Elder, we still letting the 8 books go for the $45 donation to the Cash App or PayPal, which we got on the screen. Or if you just want to show us some love for the class, we take $1, $5, whatever you got that'll help us out. Right? But we're going to be back. We got more. And we're going to bring back with more. And like I say, stay tuned. We got something coming out every day, man. This Young Elder TV. We the hottest in the game. Free the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. Free Jeff Ford. Right? We still waiting on Larry Hoover to touch down. Right? We on top of the game right now. Right? And never have it been made so clear.